That manipulation process we're going to be working on is referred to as the princess style line, and we have two types of this style line. We have the shoulder, the one that starts from the shoulder, and we have the one that starts from the armhole. So we're going to work with the shoulder style line. It's basically extending your that leg on the shoulder to your bust point, extending it to your bust point. Then extending the waist dart to your bust point also. Then increasing the length of the dart. You blend around your bust. Then you cut through this line. Cut through the line. The darts. Just basically cutting out the darts. The same thing to the center front. Note you're cutting through the inner dart leg, not on the dotted line. So you're just basically cutting out the darts. That is what this shoulder princess line style line is all about. So this is it. Then you mark your balance mark, BM, balance mark. Balance mark, it means when you're cutting these two lines, when you're cutting your fabric, the two lines, the lines on the bust line and on the waistline has to be equal when you place the pattern on your fabric. You don't want to cut and one is like this. So that's the reason why you should indicate your balance mark, BM. Then on your fabric, you notch your bust line. You notch on the fabric, your bust line. Now this is going to be cut on fold. Cut on fold. Cuts twice. Cut on straight grain line, on a straight grain line, then the cut on fold. But of course, just because this is for our that manipulation class, when we are doing our pattern proper, we're going to get our waist reduction proper. This is a loose bodice block and we're just using this to do our that manipulation. When we go into contouring, we'll be able to know how to remove this so that when we cut this on fold, it will not affect us, because this is 1 cm taken out. When you place it on fold, it's either you're going to have two lines on it cutting it this way. If you're going to sew this right now without removing this, cutting this out, that means the fabric is going to have joining. That way you're able to cut this out. Now we need to get the back of this shoulder line, the center back. The center back, you come to your darts at this shoulder. All you just do is basically connect it to the darts. Take the dart construction line, the center, you connect it to the dart construction line of the darts on the back line, on the shoulder line rather. So connect. Going to blend this in so that you have I don't want to take it out too much so that it doesn't affect our back line. So you just blend it in. So you increase the length of this. You can take your curve if you want that curvy effect. You blend this place in also. So that's that for this. You cut through it. So you're going to cut through that leg. So this is what it looks like. Then you cut, just cutting out the darts. This is what it looks like. You might also want to blend this in a bit. So that I don't have so much curvy effect. So there's it. Balance mark, balance mark, balance mark, balance mark. Cut 2 times, twice. Then this is your zip line. Cut on a straight grain. Style line is the armhole style line. So we're going to connect from our shoulder darts to our bust point. And next, that's the first thing we do. sure it's properly connected. Connect to that, then either get half of your armhole or you take it up 4 cm above your chest line. 4 cm above your chest line. You need to use your cup tape so that you have the accurate measurement. Wow. So need to extend the shoulder, the darts, waist dart up also. Then you take your curve, place it and you curve it. So your point S. So this is what it is. Curve it to your point S, then you extend the dark leg. To the hem of the blouse or the dress, whichever one you're working with. Then the next thing you do is to cut it out. You cut through this line, then cut through the dart. And after cutting, you take your inner dart leg, to your outer dart leg. Inner dart leg to the outer dart leg. Not the broken line. This is your darts. Suppose I've shaded it. So you take this dart to this dart. Make sure it gets to point S. Use your tape. And you cut through, cut out the other dart. So this is what your shoulder princess style line looks like. Balance mark, make sure you write it down. Then on your pattern, on your fabric, when you cut this, you notch this bust point. Notch it on the fabric. Balance mark. Balance mark. Then of course if you're sewing, if you need to sew, let me smarten this side. you need to cut on fabric, you're going to add sewing allowance, half inch to join it. Then the necessary sewing allowance required in every other place. So that's that for our princess tie line. It is also referred to as the conceal seam because when you sew it, you won't get to see the shape of the dart. It's concealed. And another thing, that is also used. If you don't want to use your dart, if you don't want to sew out your dart, you can convert it into gathers. You can, instead of you sewing darts on your fabric. Let me explain better with a sample of darts. So let's assume this is you want to sew this and you don't want to sew a dart. You want to convert it into you want to convert it to something else. You don't want that. You can convert this into a gathered form. You can convert it into a tuck depending on the style what you're working with, the design. That basically can be converted. The uses of that, it can be used as gathers. It can be used as gathers, pleats, tucks, and all that. So that's that about our dart manipulation class. For the armhole princess tie line, for the back, you get half of this back armhole. And 11. So you take your curve, also you connect to the dart. At the back. Connect to the dart at the back and you extend the shoulder darts. Show it. This is what it looks like. Mark your balance mark. Balance mark. Mark your green line sign. Then do the same thing to the front. Cut 2 times. Twice. Cut on 4. So for you to be able to cut on 4 at the center front, the way it is, you must have transferred your 1 cm seam 1 cm that allowance to the side for you to be able to cut unfold. Cut unfold on this center front of the panel of the armhole princess tie line. The same thing applies to the other one. So that way you can cut unfold by transferring this to the side seam. So this is what that look like, princess style armhole. And this is the shoulder line, CB, CB, CF, CF. So this is what it looks like. The princess tie line, the shoulder princess tie line, and so this is it. So see you in the next class.